Welcome to the From Concealment Podcast, the show for firearm enthusiasts who like to shoot, train, carry, and compete. Get ready for some shooting and sight, firearm and accessory reviews, and of course, insight on concealed carry. And now, broadcasting from behind enemy lines in the From Concealment studio, it's Pete Mitchell and Dan Sams.
Hey, Freedom Nation, this is Pete Mitchell.
And I am Dan Sams.
And you are listening to the From Concealment Podcast, which is being brought to you by Fast OC. If you're in Orange County, California, or thereabouts, the general area will do. Head on over to fastoc.com. Check out their website. They got all kinds of great trainings coming up, handgun challenges. Unfortunately, I've missed like the last one or maybe even two. I can't remember exactly. Just due to scheduling, but they do them all the time. They are tons of fun. Their trainings are fantastic. You'll want to check it out. Again, it is fastoc.com. Now, Mr. Sams, I've been requested by our listeners to ask for your thoughts. They want the full tinfoil hat treatment.
All right.
On the coronavirus.
All right. We can definitely do that. So I will tell you that I didn't jump to conspiracy stuff right away. When I first heard about it, I'm like, oh man, this is bad. It's sad. And I didn't go anywhere beyond that. And as is my custom, man, I won't develop a theory. I'll just state what we know and say, isn't that weird? So here's what's interesting, man. We were hearing about all this stuff. We know that China is a wreck, from human rights violations to it's completely socialized healthcare, which means the healthcare is crap. There's a variety of other things going on, and we know that China is not honest about things. And so I don't know, did you hear about the initial report that supposedly came out about the coronavirus being an engineered virus? Did you hear about that thing?
I assumed that it was. I didn't hear about it, but I just assumed it had to have been.
So I heard about this thing. There's a PDF floating around. Someone I know has it. I don't have it yet. But it was wild to me. My first thought when I heard that is like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. That's really weird. So then when I looked it up a little bit more, what was interesting to me, just Googling it, how fast there are multiple articles about denying it. Like, there's no way we would know how to do this. We can't blah, 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 blah. We can't. And I'm like, like, there's a lot of stuff. You're working really hard to say that you don't have the technology to do this. I mean, that's weird. It would be a lot easier to just be like, hey, this is just not what's happening. Here's the type of virus it is. Instead, everything is like, we don't know how to do that, guys. Seriously. And I'm like, So I'm watching a little bit more, listening a little bit more. Well, then I find out Wuhan is where they have like two like bio warfare engineering facilities. Did you look this up? Are you familiar with this at all?
Nope. I figured you would do all the work for me.
So here's where it gets also crazy. There are some articles out there saying this is just crazy conspiracy theory, and then there are some, relatively, like Washington Times and some others, relatively like normal run of the mill saying like, yeah, it's kind of weird, huh? But yeah, there's two laboratories in that are part of the Chinese biowarfare program, and they're there in Wuhan, and they were affected, it looks like, really early on with the virus. So that's weird.
I like how you just leave it. Oh, that's weird.
I mean, I'm not putting together a theory. I'm just like, isn't that weird? If we found out that there was like, say, radiation fallout, and everybody was like, well, man, it's probably due to some type of a nuclear facility screwing things up, right? And everybody's like, that's just a conspiracy. And then we find out that like there are two like chemical warfare plants that use all this stuff, that the city where it had the worst thing and first, it happened right there. We'd be like, that's weird. That's how I look at this stuff. And then you put it together with the fact that Chinese government lies. Like, that's just what they do. They're right. The worst.
How many people do you think are really dying? Like, what percentage?
Oh, dude, I don't even want to say, but so I'm following. Man, this is gonna be so nuts. Okay, so I gotta tell you, I follow some of the. I follow some Instagram pages that are just kind of unique, right? And it's not just crazy conspiracies. They're sharing video of stuff that they're like, hey, why isn't anybody reporting on this? And then they post it, and then some of these Instagram deletes them a couple of days later.
Right.
I'm like, that's really weird. Like, that's shady, right? So I follow Tar and Feather Inc. on Instagram. Tar and Feather Inc. is great.
That's a good one.
It is a really good one. So he's sharing a couple of Twitter feeds from Hong Kong and China. And they're showing video of a lot of people dying, a lot of places getting raided. And now some of this stuff, it's like, it could be a photo of something else. You know, it's just like anything else. You could have stock video, stock footage that you're pulling in, saying it's one thing, it's not. I recognize that's possible. But he's sharing Hong Hong 975. That's not Hong Kong, but Hong Hong. And let's see, Tuka of fake news on Twitter, which I know sounds really weird. Dude, the videos they're showing are alluding to a lot of deaths, and they're just sharing links, sharing things going on. Most of this is in Chinese, has to be translated, but it is not looking good. They're like, there are more people dying here than is getting reported. And by the way, here's a picture of it. And then here's a picture of the police raiding this city that you don't even know about. And I'm like, yeah, that's shady, man. Like, I don't want to create a conspiracy theory. I just want to be like, that's weird. That concerns me.
And the thing is, it's already here in the States.
Mm-hmm. Well, it takes 5 days to show symptoms, supposedly. So think about how many things like that. You catch a virus, you're exposed to it. You could be anywhere in the world in 5 days and you're not presenting any symptoms. You don't know you're sick. For crying out loud, people are getting sick here in Ohio.
Are they really? I know we got one here in Orange
had,
County as of this morning. I was looking.
Yeah. We had Indiana. I think we had one, and I want to say it was Dayton, Ohio. It could be wrong. I think we have Ohio. And then some weird stuff like in Cincinnati, they just closed a school supposedly because like 1,000 people were sick with the flu. And I'm like, well, hopefully it's just the flu. Crazy stuff, man. Yeah. So I don't want to go conspiracy theory. I'm just like, yeah, this is weird. This concerns me.
Dude, but have you ever seen a hospital get built so quick in all your life?
No,
the Chinese hospital. Have you seen that?
I've heard a little bit.
Dude, okay, first of all, when I heard they're like, oh, we're building 1,000-bed hospital, I'm like, yeah, you're putting up a tent, right? It's a big army tent. No, they've got a webcam on it. It's like walls. It's a full, like you've never seen anything like this ever. It's amazing. Yeah. I'm like, see what happens when the government pretty much rubber stamps its own thing. Hey, there's no permit for this. We're just going to do it. Do it. It's like amazing.
Yeah, it kind of is. Well, and how many things like that? Well, we're going to get off on another rabbit trail, but some of these things where like you put up a wall, these prefabbed walls, you can build some stuff really quick. I've seen some stuff go up quick, but we run into, permits and issues and whatever. The government's rubber stamping its own stuff. We can go fast.
And to be fair, I mean, I've worked with so many contractors over the years. Unfortunately, too many of them are looking for the shortcut. Too many of them are looking for, how do I quickly get this up, least amount of money, blah, blah, blah. And if there wasn't someone watching them, I don't trust them. So I get that, but it's kind of ridiculous at this point. I mean,
it is.
We've gone the other extreme at this point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I have a whole free market theory on that we shouldn't talk about today because we got too much we got to talk about. But I'm with you. Principle, I'm with you. So yeah, it's crazy times out here. And what really concerns me is how like in China, they can just lock you down, man.
Yeah.
People are stuck in their homes. That's the other thing. How do they even track who's dying? If you were locked down in your home. So supposedly in one of these feeds, they were saying they're welding shut doors to keep people out. Or to keep people in, that is. And I'm like, okay, I haven't seen that, but it wouldn't surprise me. We know Chinese government does similar things like that. So how would you know how many people are dying? There's no way that the cops can get around and check every house every day. There's no way the numbers can be accurate.
I just don't know if this is going to start the big igloo early.
Maybe.
I got to be honest with you, man. That's always the thought in the back of my head. I'm like, hey, maybe we're going to go back to Lord of the Flies right here, right now.
Yeah, man.
It's going to be living off the land. You know, the world falls. I mean, there could be one good thing that comes out of this. No world governments anymore. Just get rid of them all.
Yeah. We'd be hanging out, man. Most time Chinese guys want to come over and be like, dude, we're buddies. Like, no problem. I got Iranian friends. We'll come over. We'll be friends. We'll hang out. Saudi Arabian friends. We're all cool. It's only our governments that are fighting each other.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, you want to have world peace, man. Let's get rid of the governments. It'd be great.
There you go.
That's right. What if some guy in Wuhan was like, this virus is perfectly designed to only kill people with political aspirations?
Oh, there you
go. That's not a thing. I wish it would be nice.
What's funny is my wife and I just watched this TV show. It was like 6 episodes on, I think it was like National Geographic Channel called The Hot Zone, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And basically it's based on true events where we had an Ebola outbreak here in the States. And it was from some monkeys that were imported. They had it. And just seeing the government bureaucracy, the CDC not wanting to communicate or work with the Army, and the Army not wanting to work with them. And then, of course, a private entity that it was their research center, their monkeys, their everything. And, I mean, Ebola is no joke. Like, it's no joke. You don't mess around with Ebola. And they're just like, but they're all fighting each other. And this is based on true events. And I kind of remember it happening back when it did happen. But this, this is obviously TV advised. I mean, they made it fun and exciting and all that. But it was so funny that we just watched that. And then this comes out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, all right. Is it go time? I mean,
oh man,
is that what's coming? And
scary.
And part of me too is like, okay, so who's dying? Is it the old and the young? If that's the case, that's the way every virus is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The flu, the old and the young are who die.
Yeah.
When they get it bad enough. If it's that kind of virus, then is this just something that you endure and then you're fine? Yeah. If that's the case, okay, we'll get through it. No problem. But if it's like it is chemically engineered to be, much worse than that, then we got a real issue.
Yeah. Well, supposedly, there's not enough clear information, honestly, but supposedly it's like a really bad case of pneumonia, supposedly. And so supposedly it does affect the elderly and the younger worse, but I'm not sure. I don't know who to trust one way or the other on that, in all seriousness. It's a mess, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, because I don't know that our government would tell us the truth any more than the Chinese government.
They wouldn't. Well, they probably wouldn't tell each other the truth. Like, that's the, we're looking at I would think I was mentioning I'm reading or listening to, rather, because I really love the books on tape, the FBI Secrets of the FBI by Ronald Kessler. And he goes into just legitimate basic bureaucracy issues during the pre-9/11 days, where he's like, we were running on computers that didn't function properly, let alone could they network. And then we had all this misunderstanding of who could talk to who about this. He's like, we'd have 2 guys in both FBI agents, both researching the same person, but one, it was on like a criminal case and one, it was something else. And we weren't allowed to talk to each other. And I'm like, yeah, I understand that gets kind of complicated, but big messes. So, we could have something going on and government bureaucracy will mess anything up, man. So somebody might not find out about it accidentally.
What's ironic about all that is in some cases, there are reasons why they shouldn't be allowed to talk with each other.
Oh, fully agree.
For example, the NSA doesn't have a constitutional right to take all of our communications, listen to them, index them, transcribe them, phone, computer, everything. They have no right to do that.
I fully agree. Oh, yeah.
This Patriot Act crap. It's unconstitutional. The fact that we have no one with any balls whatsoever in politics to stand up to them and say, no, you can't do that, because they all get to take advantage of it. But I really don't want, because they're already doing that, these other organizations, CIA, FBI, ATF, DEA, any other alphabet you want to throw together to go, oh, well, hey, why don't we just go over here to NSA? Let's get some of that info.
Yeah. Well, and of course, the root issue in all this is they're doing something they're not supposed to be doing in the first place.
Right.
If we took that out of the equation and I have local law enforcement is investigating some guy, some murder that ends up being linked to a crime syndicate, I'm okay with the FBI finding out about that actual murder that happened and being able to talk to law enforcement because it's related to a legitimate case. What I don't like is that the NSA is listening to everything that goes on this device and without any warrant gets to listen to whatever. And then if they want to pull that information to any even hypothetical thing they want to bring up, that's where I'm like, we're way over the line. So you're exactly right. In those cases, I don't want the FBI talking to the NSA, but I don't want the NSA doing what they're doing in the first place is the real issue. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, man.
I guarantee I'm already on a watch list just because of this podcast and the fact that I know you.
I was going to say, just because you know me, Pete, you're already on the watch list.
Yeah, what I think is funny is people go, oh, you got to ask your friend about the coronavirus. I want to hear what he has to say. Like, yep. That's
that's me. Well, and I admittedly don't know that much, but it's just what we do know, what we are hearing is from people that we are known to lie. And so it's like, well, okay, so maybe this is true, maybe it's not. I don't want to assume too much one way or the other. It all in anything though, whether it's coronavirus, whether it's Ebola, whether it's a hurricane, right? Whether it's, EMP, something like that. Being prepared is a pretty important thing, man. And that's one of the reasons why we have this podcast where we talk about make sure you're armed properly. Make sure get a couple of stacks of rice and beans, man. Like minimal. Let's say that you got locked down. Let's say that it was coming through here and even voluntarily, we were like, we're going to stay inside so people don't get sick. Man, you're going to want several days. Like this is a virus that supposedly takes 5 days to incubate. So like, man, you better have 5 days of food minimum. You probably need a lot more than that, right? You're probably going to need 30 days of food. What if something goes down and you're going to need 30 days of food because you're not going to be able to leave your house for 30 days? Those kind of things, like a lot of this stuff is just basic preparedness applies in every one of these situations. And man, just about anybody can afford to buy 50 pounds of rice, 50 pounds of beans, and you can live off that a long time. So anyway, that's some of my thoughts. Beans, rice, ammo, be ready to rock.
Well, that and water. Water's a big.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Let me see here. Blue Can, I believe, is what it's called. I'm trying to see if I can find it here on Amazon.
Blue Can.
Trying to see if that's what it is.
Oh, I think I've seen these.
I don't know where it is. Let me see. Is it Blue Can Water? Sorry, guys. I just wanted to look this up real quick. So there is. So I went to a prepper class because why not? And the gal was like going through. Okay, here's how you make your go bag, and here's what you need to have in there, and so she started this off with like this base bag, which had the food that's good for 5 years, the 3-day supply of water, et cetera, et cetera. And then you had to go through and really, build it out, put everything in there you wanted, right? So I was buying all kinds of crap and sticking it all in my go bag. And personally, I keep it in my trunk of my car because I figure wherever my car is, that's usually where I am. And one of the things she talked about, and I can't find it, it's like Blue Can or Blue something water. And
I'm looking at Blue Can Water right now.
Oh, you found it?
BlueCanH2O.com.
Okay.
Looks like.
And supposedly, Blue Can H2O.
Looks like an O, not a zero, because that's the temptation is to. There we go. I'm there.
Yeah,
Blue Can
that's
H2O.
That's the stuff. You can find it on Amazon every once in a while as well. But the cool thing about that water, so it's canned water like a Coke can, but it's good for 50 years. The way that they've sealed it. So. Like her and her husband, I know where they live. They live in a condo complex, and they bought a pallet, which is 2,400 cans.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where the heck are you going to put that? You live in a condo. So I don't know if they don't use their parking space, which to me, I'm thinking, well, then if it does hit the fan, people are just going to go steal your water because they know you're the crazy people with the water, right? I mean,
yeah.
but I really, really like that idea of, being able to buy it one time and not thinking about it.
Well, I bet it's not that expensive.
Not if you look at it as I'm keeping this forever.
Yeah. Yeah. So 2,400. I don't know. What do you think it's going to end up being? I can't find a price on here, but man, that would be great.
Case of 24 is, oh wow, they're not. Oh yeah, case of 24 is $30.
So hopefully price goes down with, whatever. Otherwise, you're $5,000 for 2,400 cans, roughly. Right?
Yeah. Something like that.
So there is amazing stuff going on with aluminum can technology. I know this sounds really weird, but it's why so many beer companies are going back to cans, because you can actually preserve taste now better than bottles. And then you're not dealing with glass. You're not dealing with whatever. So interesting. It sounds like they're transferring that technology over to water storage, which good on them.
Yeah, I mean, a 50-year shelf life. I mean, come on,
that's pretty
man.
good, man. Yeah.
I get that at this point in my life. I'm good until I'm
You're
dead.
good,
I'm leaving
man.
that to the kids, man.
There you go. Just put a date on there and
drink
the apocalypse happens.
Drink before X date.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, hey, just real quick, man, what do you do for your go bag?
Oh man, that's a longer conversation.
I know it is. But give me some of the highlights.
So I've got we got basic saw, basic hatchet. I have about 500 rounds of ammo. I've got my folding Ruger 1022, which I know is small caliber, but gets us in there. Easy to haul a lot. And then I have I have my Walther P22 and or Ruger pistol, all in 22. So I'm using the same ammo for everything. And I can distribute that to my various family members. Probably going to end up transferring that to my kids for their carry and my wife, and I'll be carrying the AR. But I've got a tarp, I've got some MREs, got some Cliff bars, got some rice and beans because I'm feeding my family, right? Some just real basic stuff like that. Fire starter, I've got a little jar for boiling water, couple of other fire starter tools, trying to actually keep it as simple as possible. Like it's a halfway, I think it's like a 65 liter backpack. Got some rope in there. I'm doing 65 liter because I'm carrying stuff for my family, but I had just a really small rucksack that I was rocking before that I was ready in case I was going to have to jet out on my own anywhere, like a get home bag kind of deal.
Right.
But yeah, I'd have to look at it, but to see what all else is in there. Warm clothes, wool things, wicking, stuff that has a wicking whatever to it. Yeah.
What about cash? You keep cash in it?
As of right now, no. I am told, like my hero, Creek Stewart, he says to carry $1,000 cash.
Oh, no kidding.
He says carry $1,000 cash. I'm not certain about what's going to happen in a legitimate grid down scenario. I'm not sure cash is going to have value. So I'm going more on a barter kind of mentality. I've got a few things that I could barter. Cash is probably not a bad idea if we're talking about something like a Hurricane Katrina situation, right? Right. You're going to want cash. Cash is going to talk. Cash is going to get you through some places. It's going to be helpful. If we're talking about a full, like everything's down, I don't think cash is going to do us anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, in the beginning days, I think it will. And then I think it starts to set in with people. Hey, this doesn't work anymore. These certificates of value have no value anymore. Yeah. Then so like you said, Katrina, I mean, if it's a short-term thing, if you don't know it's going to be a long-term thing, the cash will be good there at the beginning. So I personally keep, I don't keep 1,000. Maybe I got to reevaluate that. I keep 200 in ones. Yeah. And because the advice I was given is, hey, look, no one's going to make change. So if all you got is a 20, guess what? That thing you were going to get for $2, it's now $20. Yeah. So I was like, all right. So then I want it all in ones, so that way, I can use that. Right now, again, and I keep that in my trunk, right? So I've always got it in my trunk. When we go on vacation, we usually take my wife's car. I transfer it over to her car. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, so there we go. I almost always have a firearm on me, so I don't keep a separate one in there, that, and, you know, here in California, we got all kinds of crazy laws and all that. So
yeah,
if I did keep it in there, I would be legal as long as it was only in the trunk and it was unloaded at all times.
Yeah.
Then I would be fine keeping a firearm in there. And then for me, I really like the idea of the 22. However, right now I just have the Advantage Arms 22 conversion kit for my Glock.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the best at feeding. So it'll jam a lot.
Yeah.
So I love the idea of a 22, but I'd almost feel more comfortable if I had a separate 22 handgun.
Yeah.
But we got such crazy laws here in California. It's like, okay, if I buy that, now I'm screwed for the next 30 days. I can't buy anything else for 30 days. I hate California.
Yeah. You know what though? Yeah, you're right. You don't want to be running a conversion kit, especially in your bug out gun.
Right.
By any means. Yeah, I would think about a really reliable, and here's what I learned. Do something that's composite. So I actually did a test bug out with my setup, and I was carrying my Ruger 2245 target pistol because I'm like, this is accurate, almost like a rifle. And I'm like, this would be great. This would be all I need. I did one night in kind of humid weather, and it was already seeing some rust spots. I'm like, I can't have this.
Wow.
And that was with it mostly covered. And I mean, I had it in, you know, leather holster, covered pretty well. So I'm saying, you know, in a bug out scenario, you're probably better off to have something that's a composite gun, unless you're just going to be running an old 6-shooter and it's going to be so rugged, whatever. But I don't really recommend that anyway.
Right.
Yeah, man, I definitely think something composite, you know, like a Glock or whatever. Right. I wouldn't do a steel frame just for the sake of you don't want to have to. Yeah, weight alone is your issue, but man, rust, other kind of things. Yeah. Yeah. So, but 22 is great, man. If it wasn't for the, I mean, I guess you could still do it if you were just taking care of it the right way. But if it wasn't for the weight, I'd do that 2245. But now it's the Walther P22, man. Rocking that, ready to go. I might eventually invest in a suppressor for that, because then bug out scenario, man, I've got something that I can really keep quiet, do what I need to do with that thing. Yeah.
I wish I lived in a free state.
Me too, man. Yeah.
We get to hear about suppressors.
Yeah.
But we never get to indulge.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll repeal that NFA one way or the other.
At this point, I'm pretty sure that's never going to happen.
Well, not all repeals happen by votes.
Well, that's true, right? I mean,
so historically, when we've needed to turn things back on the gun laws, it was the guns we used to do it, not the polling booths.
Hey, what are your thoughts on Virginia?
Oh man, I'm not certain, but right now the plans are for an early July shindig hootenanny, where they're gonna do just like they did a couple of weeks ago or last week, right? Whatever it was, except they're gonna do it while it's illegal, and so we'll see. That's I'm hearing rumblings in the gun community that like, all right, let's go for it. I'm not sure everybody's gonna do it. I'm not sure that people are really ready to kill or be killed over guns. We'll see.
It's a scary time, man. It's a scary time. Yeah. I mean, the thing is everyone in the gun community used to make fun of us here in California. And they're like, they got those big green signs. Why don't you just leave? What they didn't realize is that, because of those big green signs, something did leave. All of our gun control left our state and is going to yours. So instead of abandoning us, like the NRA flat out abandoned California, just said, screw them. It's California.
They've abandoned all of us. Yeah.
Well, now they have. Absolutely. Now they're just in it for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, this is the result. The result is we can't let them encroach anywhere, because when they do, it'll end up getting applied to everyone. And that's what we're saying.
Yep.
I mean, they're literally using California as the example. Oh, look, California only lets people buy one handgun every 30 days. And they just changed it to one gun, period. I think every 30 days is what it is. It used to be you could still buy as many rifles as you wanted. And I remember I'd go in there and just buy a couple of lowers at once. Now, from what I understand, you can't do that.
Man, it's bad.
It is.
Things are getting really bad. Well, did you see the the boys in Kentucky did their own little protest, but they did it like in the Capitol. And so like those pictures were awesome. I'm like, yes. Oh yeah.
Nice. That's nice.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen in Virginia because it is still not clear to me how ready people are to fight.
Right.
And even me, man, like I don't want to. I have things that are far more important to me. Right. But I know that if something doesn't happen sooner rather than later, the long-term result is where we won't be able to control it. You know, right. It's loading people onto trains. It goes to real bad stuff really quick as right. soon as we're not able to defend ourselves. Yeah. And I'm right now, there's enough movement in the gun freedom community. We have enough overlap with law enforcement that doesn't want to support these laws. We have enough overlap with, National Guardsmen that would be on our side. This might be the time to stand up and say, we're just not going to stand for this. And so this early July thing could be the time where we're like, all right, why don't you see what happens? I'm seriously not sure how many, National Guardsmen would be willing to fire on American citizens over something that they swore an oath to protect. Right. And so I'm just wondering what it all would play out at. I just don't know what it would look like, and I'm not sure what's going to happen. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%, man. I have no idea either. And it's unfortunately, it's the result of one, it's the result of thinking that politics is going to solve our problems.
Yeah.
On both sides. Right. I mean, I know your stance on this, but you and I are not Republicans or Democrats. And I mean, what was it, the meme that we saw? It's like we got two people fighting over how they're going to steal my money and what they're going to do with it when they get it or something like that. But I mean, it's like at the end of the day, you're both totally stealing from us.
Yeah.
And wasting our money on things that are unconstitutional and we don't want.
Yeah.
And it's for the good. It's for the betterment. No, it's not.
Yeah.
No.
Well, yeah. So this is where I don't want to get into trouble, but I will just a little. I've been thinking a lot, you got everybody knows I hate taxes, right? And I've for a long time maintained hey, this whole thing of like how that amendment to allow for income tax, real shady how that got pushed through. I've looked at some of the stuff and I'm like, we could probably say this is probably legal, although it's wrong, right? Like it probably went through legal, but I'm like, nobody changed an amendment to take away my gun rights. I still have a Second Amendment, and yet we have all these laws that violate that. I shouldn't have to obey those. If I do, then then why should I obey this income tax law? Because if the amendments are just a wash and they don't mean anything, well, they don't mean anything for your ability to tax me either. Or like what's happening in Virginia, where they're going to try to make these laws against you speaking out against certain, politicians or whatever. And I'm like, that is about as flagrant of a First Amendment violation as you can get. So I'm like, okay, if we're going to go there and we're just going to say that the Constitution means nothing, well then, okay, that works both ways and I don't have to pay taxes. Because what I'm trying to figure out is that there's no way that I can rationally look at all of these things and say that we're interpreting the Constitution and its amendments in a rationally cohesive manner. We're just not. And so I'm like, well, what does this mean for the rule of order at all? It's the Constitution is supposed to be like the rules of the game that we've all agreed to. Well, it's like I'm playing football and guys have decided they can run out and around the bench and come back in the end zone and it counts. Okay, well, if we're in that, then we're not playing football anymore.
Right.
Right? So it's the same thing. Then we're not America anymore. If this is where we're at, and somebody can make a law that I can't have a certain type of gun or that I'm not allowed to speak out against a certain type of politician, then this isn't America anymore. So why should I be paying taxes? Because it's already null and void. I'm not advocating for this. I'm just saying, I can't sit here
wait.
epistemologically and agree with
things that make you go, huh, isn't that interesting?
Isn't that interesting? So anyway,
remember, the From Concealment podcast is for educational purposes only and entertainment.
Exactly.
Only.
This is for entertainment only.
Yeah, not education. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let me redo that. It's for entertainment only.
For entertainment only. This is only for entertainment. Yeah. A little side note: if anybody wonders what to get me for my birthday, I'm in a size 223.
There you go.
It's like, I think Pete, that's what we need to tell our wives. Just like we see some 223s to 556. That's all we're gonna need. Birthday presents for the rest of our lives.
Christmas, I'm a 45 ACP baby.
Yeah, that's right. I think that all of this is going to come back to ammo, Pete. We're always going to have to come back to we just need more ammo. No matter how it plays out, we need more ammo. The answer to all of this is we need more ammo.
Yeah, and I honestly can't believe all these crazy ammo laws here in California. Like, it is, man, it's so bad, and I can't believe this judge has not ruled and said, no, this is okay. We're gonna put in this injunction. I mean, California, the Attorney General has already basically said, okay, well, we stopped 68,000 people from buying ammunition, but I think it was like 100 of them weren't eligible to buy ammunition.
Yeah, everybody else was.
Everyone else was. Some of those you're stopping a constitutionally protected right.
Yeah.
Because of 100 people? No, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
Well, Pete, this is like, what was it you said last week? You're losing your trust in the Supreme Court, and I'm like, it's long gone from me. Some of these things where it's like they're not even interpreting the law anymore. I remember there was a whole issue back, and I want to say might have been in Kentucky. I'm not going to remember exactly where it was, but where essentially they were able to prove that the bank that had loaned money to this guy, that it's pretty much fraudulent. It's like, we just kind of pretend we have money in the bank and we loan it to you. And like in the court of law, they're like, well, how is that not fraud? And they were able to get this guy to keep his house that was in foreclosure because it's like, you lent him fake money. And really, really interesting. Man, I wish I could remember the case. Yeah, well, then, of course, once you get to the district or whatever circuit court level, it gets reversed. But it's like, no, what we did is we proved that the bank gave fake money, as most banks do in their loans. But then, somebody's getting palms greased somewhere else. And yeah. So I'm like, man, I'm not trusting any judges. Right. I just don't. Heck, I know some of them, and I don't trust them. Right. I'm friends with local judges, and I'm like, do not trust this person. Well, that's going to get me on the watch list.
Yeah, no kidding. Before we get in too deep, maybe we should just give Lake Erie their honorable mention.
We should. Hey, by the way, Lake Erie Arms, which, by the way, is in Huron, Ohio. Huron has now already become we've already made the statement. Huron County has declared themselves a Second Amendment sanctuary. So before anything's even gone down in Ohio, they're like, we will not enforce any of those gun laws. So that happens to be the wonderful safe haven that Lake Erie Arms is in. So guys, get on up to Northeast Ohio. Check us out. We're right there on the lake, Lake Erie Arms, Huron, Ohio. Check us out at learms.net, where we've got all kinds of free downloads, subscriptions, cool things you need to be involved in. And by the way, I've been watching the Freedom Nation is getting in there because I see the reports on those signups, and they're cooking. And it seems like every time we mention them, there's more. So keep it up, you guys. Really appreciate it. Thanks for all you're doing. And we will talk to you next week.
All right, guys. Take care, everybody.
You've been listening to the From Concealment Podcast with Pete Mitchell and Dan Sams. Be sure to tune in next week for more gun talk. Also, check out the From Concealment website for more shooting-related goodness at FromConcealment.com.